Okay, if you guys want, we'll summarize the clips, but we're not gonna replay the clips, for I think obvious reasons. So if you want to go find the clips, they're on Livestream Fails. But basically, there are some clips like surfacing right now of a streamer who there's I think 2 big clips that are surfacing right now. It's like one where they're complaining that they like haven't gotten a donation in the last hour, and they're like, do I stream for free or what? Like, this is pathetic. And there's another one where they're demanding people to sub and complaining that that what is it like what was the context of the tweet? Hi.
Of the second one?
Yeah.
Hold up. Sorry, I just took my cold medicine.
Definitely saw the last hour one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where it's like,
yeah.
I haven't gotten a sub in the last hour. Do I stream for? Oh, it's like, why are you watching my? Why do you have so much time to watch my Twitch stream if you don't even have $5 to sub?
Right.
Go get a job. Like, yeah.
Like, how do you have hours of time, but you can't give me $5 to watch my content?
Yeah.
Like, so these clips like blew up on Twitter. A lot of outrage, even in chat right now. A lot of people are like flabbergasted about this situation, and I can totally understand why. I see both sides of the situation. I think it's interesting because I think Monkeyism and Glam kind of have some similar thoughts on this. There are reasons to be upset about it, but there's also, I think, streamer Twitter really, in my opinion, made this super overblown. So basically, like, when it comes down to,
a lot of people used it as an opportunity to like high horse, right?
Yeah,
And be bullies.
Yeah,
A
straight
lot
up
of people-
dogpiling.
so I think like there's 2 aspects of this. There's the side where, like, people don't have to sub to watch your stream at the end of the day, right? Unless you're running like literally a sub only stream. Like, yeah, your content is free and you can't make people sub. But at the same time, like, we all shill for money. Like, we do have ways that we shill. Yeah, we don't do it in that way. But like that's how she runs her stream. Like, that's honestly how like her community is. Like, that's just like the nature of her stream. If you haven't watched her stream.
Yeah, I mean, she can talk to her audience however the hell she wants, right? To her success and or her failure, right? Like, as long as she's not being bigoted or breaking the terms of services, then who really cares how she talks to her audience is more like my stance, right? If it works for her and you're flaming her, then you just kind of come across as petty and jealous.
Yeah, and like I'm not like a big fan of the way that came across either. Like, that doesn't appeal to me. Like, that's not gonna make me want to support their content or even watch their content, and it turns a lot of people off, right? Like, and that's fine. Like, you don't have to watch the stream. You don't have to support the stream if that's not, I mean, that's appealing to you.
Something that I'm like very, very worried about, and I've said this before, and like I've said this before to friends privately, but I wish I could know who in this industry cares about me without getting into a scandal. Because it seems like every time there's a scandal, everybody dogpiles and everybody bullies. And lately, like with this clip coming out, it just seems like so many streamers just threw themselves on it to bully. And now I'm seeing people being all, oh my God, I've been streaming for 10 minutes and nobody gave me $1,000. You're still talking about it. You're bullying. And I don't like that. It's, there's a meme where, let's say you're driving your car and there's a cop behind you and you go, do I have a body in my car? Like, no, you don't, but you never know what can be taken out of context. And just to explain her clip a little bit more, like, she is somebody that kind of conducts her stream very much like Casey Tron. She has a very sarcastic personality. It's very easy to dislike her if you watch.
She has a very abrasive personality.
Yeah, but the thing is, her viewers like that. And they watch that. And, it's funny to me because if something like this was clipped from somebody like Dr. Disrespect, we would be applauding him. We'd be saying, wow, like, you go, Dr. Disrespect. Look at you, like, dunking on nerds.
I'm
Ha
pretty
ha
sure he
ha.
has done stuff like this before. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of big
Probably
streamers that have
verbatim.
done stuff like this before.
Probably verbatim. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. And it just, and I saw you answered earlier today the message that Admiral Baru wrote on Twitter, and he goes, so many people are so quick to demonize her for what she said, even though it's very clearly taken out of context. She's very clearly being dramatic and, you know, putting on an act, putting on a show. But he goes, and then you're gonna turn around and be like, all right, chat, well, we just finished a hype train. We're doing a subathon. By the way, my goal for rent is this much. Like,
yeah, like but people have like sub goals, dono goals. Subathons are literally about keeping a stream running for subs. What are you doing? Like, the stream only keeps going unless you sub. Like, neither of these situations, like, the streamer's not literally holding a gun to a viewer's head to sub. They're not, no one's forcing anyone to sub. Like, it's done in a really crass way that's like really turns people off, most people off probably. But like, I mean, it's still like the same thing.
You also have somebody who's established on the platform that has been the center of these types of dramatic conversations before. And I think it takes a degree of naivety to think that she isn't aware that she can be clipped or her stuff will be taken out of context, right? Like, this isn't her first rodeo, per se.
And if you look at her Social Blade stats, they all went up.
Right.
And she's not the one that did the clip. Like, she didn't post the clip. I'm sure like nobody would want this amount of backlash
people
and hate.
clearly did it too. Yeah. I mean, there's like a community that like follows her around just to make her look bad, and like they attack her all the time.
So, okay, I kind of want to bring this up because as soon as that happened, I posted a tweet and I basically just said, look, like who you like, pay money if you want to, don't sub. Just be nicer to people. That's my main thing here, is like, I find we're not nice enough to people. And immediately somebody linked me Discord logs that she did in 2018 where she used the N-word and the F-word. And again, my first question, and I said this, I'm like, listen, no offense.
Those are doctored, by the way.
Exactly. I said, how do you know these are real? And the reason I'm saying this is she's not 19. She's a little bit older. She has a platform. She's had a platform for a long time. Please use your head. Do you really think somebody with a platform, with a following, with an audience is going to so openly say things that they know are wrong, especially when she's into streaming like political discussions? No, these things came out, and that's the thing. So many people jumped on these logs and said, well, clearly, I mean, she's trash with these logs. Just think about it. Like, please use your judgment when these things come out. It just feels like nobody is thinking. Everyone is just jumping on.
Yeah, there's so many people also jumping on, stressing the, like, you know, support is, you know, a volunteer thing, you know, like content should be free and all these types of ideas, which is fantastic. But it's really easy to do that when you come from a position on the platform where you have 10,000 subs, or you engineered ways outside of Twitch to generate revenue. You know, I don't think it's not crazy for us to say this is a for-profit website. These are, you know, people put their time and love and effort and care into this. And that, sadly, due to the society we live in, costs money, you know? Like, so it's worrisome to me to see like giants on the platform saying all content should be free, because that helps them. That's a white knight situation for them. But it really kind of hurts everybody in the mid or lower tiers that are really trying to establish or get launched or take off and, you know, live their dream as being content creators, because then there's that tone that support isn't necessary.
And another thing that I also saw much backlash, just like you said, there's a lot of very big creators making fun of it, but then also another problem is people who are just starting as content creators. I've seen a lot of messages like, she's lucky she even gets viewers. I don't get viewers. How it's like, she should be so grateful she's getting viewers. Yes, it's incredible that we're in this ecosystem where we can stream and make money playing video games, having discussions. Yes, it is amazing. It is incredible. But are you saying that just because I have, I don't know, like currently I have 1,000 subs, are you saying that just because I have 1,000 subs, I am not allowed to desire to have 2,000 subs? Because, oh, well, you are lucky, Anastasia, that people watch you, and you are so lucky you have 1,000 subs. You can't ask for more. Why not? Why can't you want more?
Yeah.
I think it's completely natural. It's human nature.
I mean,
and they shouldn't be demonized.
There's a difference between like you know, just I guess wanting or asking for subs, asking for donations, and feeling like you're entitled to them. Like, and I think like this clip toes that line for a lot of people because they don't really know how her community is. Her community is like whatever. They don't like, they look at this clip and they're like, okay, she does this like once a month. Like, it's not a big deal. This is literally how the stream runs. And you have all these people on the outside just like
bombing her stream. I'm not even kidding.
There's they don't mind. In fact, she got like a lot of subs that day because like that's just how the community is. Like, yeah, it doesn't appeal to a lot of us, but like that it works, and that's how
some people want to be talked down to give you money.
She has like ancient clips, I think, of like her screaming at her chat and calling them sickos for like clipping her when she stands up and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's just not a new tone of voice for her, you know.
It's just unfortunate that like so many people have dogpiled and echo chambered the situation, and like they don't watch her stream. They just see this 30-second clip and they're like, this is gross. Like,
so this is where, okay, it's kind of like a weird line to take the conversation, but like, please, let's tread this carefully. The reason that so many people piled on her is because, like, if this clip was done by somebody who has a cleaner image, I don't think people would have reacted the same way. I do feel like because she is so easy to dislike, a lot of people jumped on and they're kind of just disliking her for her and not so much the clip or what is being said. Because if this clip was being said by somebody with a pristine reputation, people would go, oh, it's just taken out of context. Come on.
Yeah.
But here, nobody has given her that right. Nobody's even looking at her stream. People are just going, oh yeah, that girl, you know, that B word.
And she has done some things in the past that have been very, you know, not great, questionable, whatever. Like, this is not a full-on character assessment. Like, we're talking about this clip and what's been said and like demanding money from viewers, and like that is ultimately like, if you like, it's so funny because we talk about like you know, like women that like, you know, wear low-cut shirts and like do sub goals for dancing, whatever, and everyone's like, well, if you don't like it, don't watch it. And I agree with that, but why is this not the same thing?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely the same thing. If you don't like her being, you know, a little bit not rude to her audience, but like a little bit more sassy, don't watch it.
Yeah.
And where do we draw the line? Because sorry, what's up?
No, you're absolutely correct. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry. No, you're absolutely correct. Like,
I just like, I have a little message that I wanted to read you guys from Instagram, because my question is, if we keep doing, it's not really a question. My problem is, next time this happens, please use your judgment. Please think a little bit further, because this can happen to any one of us. Like, streamers, we need to realize things that we do could very easily get clipped out of context and guess what? Tomorrow, you're the one with the scandal. Tomorrow, you don't know who's your real friend. And I just want to read something very, very quick that I got this message on Instagram, right? It's just somebody, every time I post a picture, they go, I was not invited. Why was I not invited? Again, I was not invited to share this delicious meal. Did you go to another place after? I'm like, bro, I have zero idea who you are. You're not invited to hang out with my best friends. Well, we can get to know each other. I have many good personal spots in Montreal. Then they keep talking like the only unplanned, could basically they go, you may think this is weird, but, and I'm sure you like unplanned surprises. I'm like, the only unplanned surprise I like are bags of money. Have a good day. Right? But like, what if this person then takes what I said, where it's very clearly me trolling, me being like, I don't want to hang out with you, random stranger on Instagram. And then they put it on Twitter and people go, oh yeah, Anastasia, I watched her stream. Somebody came in, said something stupid. She said, why don't you subscribe? Boom, I'm canceled tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and we know you, so I'd be like, she jokes about this stuff all the time. Like, if you watch our team stream, she's literally like 100 subs and I will like lose this game intentionally. Like, that could very easily look bad, but like, yeah, it's like, that's just like how she is. That's just how you are.
Clips are inherently lacking context, right? There's no way to look at any clip ever taken and think that you have anywhere near the full story of the situation.
Like, another thing. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, it's actually kind of like taking the subject a bit away from it. So you go, because I'm gonna like.
Well, so I do want to talk a little bit about the other side, because so initially, like when I was looking at this and seeing everyone's reaction, I had the same gut reaction too. I was like, oh, this is like everyone's upset. Like, oh man, I feel like I need to be upset too. you know, obviously I didn't say anything at the time because I don't like to just like you know, just speak out my butt before I know the full story. But I do see like the idea that, you know, sub shaming is obviously like not a great thing. Like it's not. And like we already deal with, I think if you have a close knit community, we deal with the issue where people feel lesser because they're not a sub, just because of how tight knit communities can feel. And when you can't afford to sub, you feel lesser and you feel like you don't want to talk anymore or you don't want to be around anymore. So I can see like the general idea of what makes people upset, like the broader commentary of like, you should all sub to us if you watch us, if you spend hours watching us, which is not fair.
Entitlement fucking sucks. 100%.
So I do see that like initial reaction, like if you're just looking at the broader messaging, why that's problematic. But then it just goes back to like, so that is fine. But I think villainizing her, trying to cancel her because this is the way she talks to her community, and yet she's successful doing it, is just like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Ultimately, this literally does not affect anyone else. It affects her at the end of the day, and her community is fine with it. So why are we why are we caring so much? Why do we care?
And all of her stats are going up due to it too.
Yeah. I mean, can I be honest with you? Like, I mean, I'm going to be honest anyway. She gained, I think, 1,000 follows today. I would not want those 1,000 follows coming after this drama, because the amount of BS she's going to have to deal with for those 1,000 followers, I don't think is worth it at all. And I'm going to kind of link this to the thing I wanted to mention is, I'm going to use this word. It's a big word, but bullying. I feel like a lot of people who jumped on, a lot of big streamers who jumped on this issue, when I read the thread, it was like, yeah, I have no respect for her, she's trash. And then people keep subtweeting it and people keep making jokes about it. Very big popular Twitch streamers who talk about positivity and being positive and being a good, you know. So what, you can only be positive towards people who agree with you 100%. If somebody does something you don't like, oh, we can't be positive towards them because they're trash. Like, what, is there anything we can do? Because realistically, Elspeth, she stood up for her and she got pooped on.
A couple people did. A couple people tried to like defend her and like recanted their statements because of, you know, the mob.
Yeah. And like, what's gonna happen? Is this gonna happen every time? Because honestly, I am genuinely, and I know, Bloody Faster, if you're still here, I saw you write something like this previously where you were terrified of something going viral. I am terrified of something going viral. One of the reasons I don't like to post clips of stuff, one of the reasons, even though I'd like to think I'm hilarious, I'm just terrified that somebody is gonna take something the wrong way and then I'm canceled.
Okay, yeah, because you have a very sarcastic tone.
And I very much have a like IDGAF attitude. And it's very easy to dislike women like that. So I'm terrified. What do we do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I think streamer Twitter already has like a major issue with echo chambering and mob mentality. And it's really dangerous. Like, that's why I really try not to speak on things before I really get the full picture. Like, I spent all day reading tweets, looking at everyone's perspectives, like looking at, like, you know, trying to get some actual information and getting more context about the situation. And it just like kind of changed my perspective about it. Like, where I was like initially wanting to just be upset, but then was like, wait a second, like, why does this affect me? Like, this is just one way to do your stream. It's like Dr. Disrespect. I don't like his channel and the way he does things at all, but you could very much compare the way he does things and the way that she does this. Like, and there are several streamers, big streamers that do this, male streamers that do this. And I mean, no one has a problem with it. Like, you don't tune in, right? Like, there are a lot of streamers that like guilt trip or like, you know, push for subs and stuff like that. Like, honestly, like subathons and like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with subathons. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with what she did. No. But these are just ways of like, you know, like pushing your viewers to support you, which is fine because we all need to make money. Like this is like, why are we pretending that like we all do this for free from the bottom of our hearts? Like, we literally can't. It's like, this is our job. Like, we need to make money. We should in some way.
It's so much work.
Like, you may not like the way that I shill, and you may not like the way that Glam shills, and you may not like the way that this person shilled, like, and you don't support them.
Speaking of, I think it could be very interesting to do a show about like how to monetize better, ideas for monetization. Just I wanted to tell you about that before I forget. But the thing with, I always say this on stream. I'm like, do I love my job? Yes. Would I do it for free if I could? Yes. But would I much rather make $5 in a day or $500 in a day? Anybody who says $5, you are lying to yourself and to everybody else. Like,
Right.
money is freedom. Money is you get to buy the good treats for your dog. You get to buy the nice clothes. You get to buy your parents dinner. Why are we demonizing it? But then also, it's always so odd to me.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I'm really nervous about the future going forward. I'm really nervous that these things are going to keep happening. Like, okay, the James Charles thing, right? Long story short, James Charles got accused by Toddy, and everybody believed Toddy. And then Jeffree Star jumped on and he said he was going to show receipts. He never showed receipts. Toddy never showed receipts. But like, if they both had done so, you never know whose career would have been canceled. It's crazy. He lost, I think, 2.5 million YouTube subscribers in a day. It's terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it just comes down to tone policing at the end of the day. Like, so there's only one right way, I guess, to run a stream now. Like, we say like, oh, it like, just don't like it, don't watch it for other forms of content. But now this is like where the line gets drawn. Like,
yeah, it is an interesting line, right? Like for a long time when I first started streaming, I felt like I couldn't ask for anything ever just because I felt so fucking weird, right? But then you learn that it is healthy to ask for help, right? Like that's a healthy thing to do, and to let people know how they can help is also a really healthy thing to do. So, you know, the different ways, it's like you said, the different way people choose to do that. You know, if it rubs you the wrong way, then don't support them. There's no need to dogpile and flame and, you know, break out the pitchforks.
I mean, there's nice ways of guilt tripping, which is like, you know, having like a donation goal. And then there's more crass ways of doing it, which is not everyone's cup of tea. It's, you know, obviously much more blunt, which is like literally demanding some subs. And
I'll give you guys an example. I did a quiz on stream. It was a poop quiz. It was like, what kind of poop are you? And I said, should I tweet it? Chat goes, yeah. I'm like, 10 subs and I tweet it. And I got 10 subs and I tweeted it. And that day I had like 3 poop quizzes on my Twitter. You know, but if you watch the team streams, I have also said 100 subs and I don't buy property in this game. Not even to my channel. It was 100 subs to Taffy. And then I think in your stream last time I said 100 subs and I won't talk for 30 minutes. That did not fill my pockets in the slightest. That's just my personality. But I know some people, if they tuned in, they'd go, wow, what a B word. Like, she asked for 10 subs to do something embarrassing. I do embarrassing things for free too, but sometimes it's nice to get paid. And guess what? It worked. That's the best part. It worked.
Yeah, and I mean, this clearly works for the streamer. Like, they've been doing this full time for a while now. Like, they're fine. Like, their community is fine with it. They're going to continue to be fine with it. Like, I don't think that this person's going to or needs to change their content necessarily. So it's like, why? Like, it was just like everyone just, I don't know, it just got way overblown on Twitter. Like, it was just like, I know everyone needs to throw their 2 cents in to get like engagement and stuff, but it just sucks to see. And it, like, if this happened to me or to you, like, this sucks. Like, it makes you wonder, like who cares more about like just like chiming in versus like actually, you know, getting the full context about the situation.
Right. And I mean, no offense to like their size or reach or anything like that, but to me, the bigger influence on all of this in the streamosphere is coming from the hot takes from the bigs, right? Like your Barus and your Co-Carnages and, you know, those types of personalities that we have. They're setting a tone, right? Like the person that, you know, is getting clipped ultimately, you know, is going to have some type of probably short-term drama and potentially profit from it. But the bigger conversations are, you know, setting kind of a tone of the way that this industry is looked at. It's a bigger picture conversation. And that to me is the big concern that comes out of it. But obviously I'm a dude. Women have different concerns for sure.
Well, I mean, like, we also don't want to perpetuate like villainizing being paid for your content, because you should get paid for your worth. I think if you genuinely have an issue with people consuming content for free, then there's obviously more monetization methods that you need to take on, like paywalling content. And that's what a lot of streamers do. Like, you know, so.
Isn't that what like D&D did? They basically had like a really greatly organized show, and I think they have 80K subs on Twitch. I'm sorry, I'm gonna sound like such a poser here, but the really big D&D channel, where it's like really well done, really well documented show. Yeah, they have something like 80K subs. It's ridiculous because their show is so well done. And again, you can have content behind a paywall. You can I think would be really interesting with like all this whole backlash, to do a small like episode one time on just how to monetize your content. For example, if you had a conversation with your community once a month about, hey, these are this. Maybe if you ask them, hey guys, what games do you want me to play? Okay, X amount of money, I'll play this game. There's so much that you can do. There's even go out and get some sponsors, right? When was the last time you did that?
Yeah, we've actually talked about that on Streamer Squared too, like the different methods of monetizing your stream. Like, I think this person knows that. I mean, I'm not going to assume that they do, but like if they genuinely think that they should get paid for the content, they could easily paywall it. But I think also just like being blunt about asking for subs is just one way of doing it. It's just like, I don't know, there's like a really I don't want to name names, but there's like a really large streamer, like one of the most popular streamers on Twitch, that is so forward about like the top dono of the day, and like, you know, asking for subs and being like just like being very straightforward about wanting money. And like that's been his shtick for years, and no one has ever had a problem with it. He's never had any controversy about it. So it's really interesting to be like, how is this any different? Like, he's very, very, very straightforward about like demanding subs.
The other side of the conversation too is the social currency of being the one that tweets that moment, right? Like the person that made the tweet with the clip. Is that technically leeching content from the person who was clipped in order for social media clout? You know, like there's that whole side of the convo as well.
I've also already seen, you know, when people make those like funny clips of like, hey, it's me, I'm your Twitch chat, that kind of stuff. I already saw a guy this morning who he made a video about follower only mode. And in that video, he uses clips of BadBunny where he's like distorting her face as she's going, subscribe to me. It's, come on. Like, I understand fair use. I understand stuff like that. But it's interesting because in Hollywood, right? I think Champion was writing about it. In Hollywood, they have TMZ, they have other outlets. Is what's happening right now, like, is this just natural? Like, hear me out. So before that, we never really had this much happening. We never really had this much drama because streamer Twitter was itself smaller. We had maybe like one or two big things here and there. But now that some streamers are, I'm sorry, I'm going to use this word, celebrities. To some people, some streamers are celebrities, and their drama ends up being big. Like when Lily and Albert broke up, there was articles about it, news articles about Lily and Albert breaking up. So what if this is just the natural, like, us being streamers, us being public figures, we're basically giving up our, I don't know how to say it in English, but like our storyline. That from now on, anybody can look at us, can look at our content and create their own storyline. And if that gets enough traction, well, sorry, you have a scandal now. Because that's what happens in Hollywood. That's what happens on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, even people like Ninja, like, his life is now under a microscope. Everything he does, every time he misspeaks, he's already had to deal with something like this, where he, like, said something that was taken out of context, where he, like, later, like, basically retracted his statement. I don't remember what it was about, but he said something and then was like, oh, you know what, actually, like, you know, never mind. But they only took the part where he said it, and then it was like a big deal, and no one even talked about the fact that he was like, oh, like later in the stream, like, oh, never mind, I that was a bad take, I'm sorry. Like, nope, did not cover that part conveniently.
Of course not. They never, because that's not dramatic. It's not dramatic to write an article where you say streamer made a mistake and apologize for it right after.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it doesn't get the clicks.
No.
Yeah, I think you're just gonna see more of this more often, and it's a very dangerous, it's a very slippery slope. And I don't think anything's going to change, because as long as people get engagement from it, people feed off drama. Like, that's just the nature. Like, that is how, you know, gossip magazines and websites work. So why not have it for streamers where, you know, it's becoming such a big thing?
Yeah, it's almost like there's a we're at this phase in, you know, content creation and streaming where people aren't really quite sure how it should be monetized or what value or wealth is. And so, you know, it causes lots of confusion in those types of conversations.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, you know, I see this clip as, I don't particularly like what I saw, and I would not be encouraged to sub or stick around, but that's just me in my opinion. But I'm not mad at them for running the stream. Run the stream how you want. We say this for many other different streams. I don't know why this is any different. It doesn't even matter if it's satire or not. Like, it does not even, there's not even part of the debate. As long as you're not perpetuating homophobia, racism, transphobia, like anything like that, like as long as you're not perpetuating anything that's like against the TOS or like actually bad, I just feel like if you want to just be like, yo, sub to me, like, why aren't you guys subbing? Like, whatever, just like let them run that stream.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it's really that bad, then they'll fail and they won't be streamers anymore, right? Like, it's not.
And clearly she still has an audience, she still has a community. And so this is another thing about content. When I first started streaming, I used to think of content as good content and bad content. Good content to me was the content that I liked, and bad content was everything that I didn't agree with. And again, like, I started streaming 6 years ago. I was a child, like, you know, we all have bad takes sometimes. And now I realize that no, there's just different content. Maybe some of it isn't for me. Here's an example. If Keeping Up with the Kardashians wasn't on TV, more people would not watch the news. Same thing. Oh, it's just not your content. But guess what? There's different people who like different stuff. There's people who want to be in a stream and they want to hear, oh my God, hi, welcome. You are awesome. Thank you for spending time with me. We are like a family. And there's people who want to come into a stream and hear, what? What do you want?
Yeah.
Don't even speak to me until you have a sub badge next to your name, trash. And they like it. Just because you're not into that doesn't mean somebody else isn't.
And neither are for any of us to judge, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
it's if, you know, I generally don't like using the phrase stay in your lane, but if there were a time where I thought it would apply, it's kind of here, right? Like, just when you're out there creating content or watching content, you know, if you just worry about you, you know, like, do your best thing that makes you happy, that makes you feel like you're giving the best value to the people that are supporting you, and don't fucking look at anybody else. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Don't do any of that. It's not your business ultimately.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dogpiling always pisses me off. The bullying is crazy.
Yeah. And that's another thing. It's like, I'm worried that moving forward, if more and more streamers kind of like jump in and bully, guess what? The what is it? The pendulum? Like, if the pendulum swings in the wrong way and they're caught under the crossfire, what now?
Right.
Chat, what should I do if I get into a scandal? Tell me.
98% of the people who share drama like that do not do it to better the industry. Yeah.
Yeah. 100% bloody.
I mean, it's that's sweet engagement. I mean, it's honestly like, streamer Twitter is very interesting because there's a lot of people that give like bland streaming advice, or like, you know, even the positive tweets and stuff like that, like the generic positive, like, you can do this. Wait, good morning. You can, like, it's just like, dude, at the end of the day, like, a lot of this is just for engagement. Like, that's how you grow as a streamer. Like, and it doesn't feel great. It doesn't, you know, it sucks. But like, it's done in a lot of different forms. We all want engagement. Yeah. But then you just get situations like this where it's just like, you don't even want to look at Twitter because it's just such a mess. And people get hurt by this. Like, someone is getting hurt by this. You know, everyone is trying to get engagement, but there's an actual human involved that has feelings that probably does not enjoy this.
Wait, what happened?
I'm so sorry. I spilled my coffee.
Oh,
Why
no.
is it every time I come on Loco's channel, something bad happens?
Oh, gosh.
Can somebody clip this for me, please? Last time, my green screen, the second we turned on the stream, my green screen fell from the ceiling.
I mean, that's another good example right there. I can't believe this streamer asked for us to clip things.
Oh, she's the worst. Honestly, I've done some, like, one of the things I like to do lately, and I mean, it's a little off topic, but I'll be quick about it, is if somebody comes in and they say really weird things, I will, in front of everybody in the chat, read their chat history. And people have said, like, that's really, really rude. So I started doing it with a British accent, and somehow it works a lot better. People get less offended. Because when you see the chat history of somebody that comes in and they say the most ridiculous things, you're like, okay, well, now I'm shaming you in front of the class.
I love
And again,
that.
I'm sure somebody could be like, I cannot believe she's shaming this viewer. Well, I'm sorry. He said really rude things to me too. Or she. Women can be mean too. Like, let me do my stream.
I mean, when I think about streamers that like berate their chat and like have this like very like kind of like bro-y, like, you know, confrontational relationship with their chat, like there's so many streamers that come to mind that do this. It's just like weird to see that this is the one that everyone has a problem with. Like, I guess people don't watch a lot of other streams. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of people that just have this relationship with their chat that's very like calling them out for things.
For sure.
I just read the best thing in your chat. I think I understand the situation more now after this talk. I definitely feel different about the clip and see it better and less controversially.
Yeah,
that makes me so happy.
And that's kind of our hope. Like, and I was trying to find someone that was like really like actually really outraged to join, but you know, because Glam and Monkeyism like have very, very great points. And definitely my perspective changed from when I first saw it and when I first saw the outrage to when I started taking notes about my thoughts later in the day. Sitting on it for a while definitely helped.
It's easy to be like, oh my God, right? Like, you know, that's it's simple gut reaction.
Yeah.
But
well, I think the way that the clip was posted and the clip was written, I'm going to use the word narrative because somebody earlier in your chat was like, I'm so happy she didn't say narrative. Personal narrative. Boom. I said it. Okay. So basically the person who clipped that and put it up, they did it very purposely to give her that image. So it's the same thing with movies, where movies have a certain soundtrack and a certain vibe to make you feel a certain way. It takes you on a ride, on an emotional roller coaster.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me.
Thanks,
I'm hoping people maybe think about this a little bit differently after this conversation. And that's why I did not want to tweet anything. I was like, I'm going to talk about it because it's so much easier to have a conversation like this. Like, as opposed to Twitter, like, where do you even start? The people that tried ended up deleting their tweets because they got dogpiled on. So I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to talk about it tomorrow.
Even I stopped answering my Twitter because a lot of the people, like, people would answer with like the fake Discord logs and then they'd keep talking about it. I'm like, the logs are fake. There's nothing else. And I do agree with you that having a conversation seems so much more mature because on Twitter, people will just argue with you, just to argue, just for fun, nothing to do. Let's argue. Like, cool. So my last thing I'm going to say, because I've talked a lot, is thank you for having me on. I love this. I was very, very, sad yesterday just for BadBunny as a human person outside of the stream character, the stream persona. As a human person, I felt bad for her. And I encourage you, please, when these things happen, just think a little bit, step outside a little bit. Like if you see an article by, I don't know, Dick Serto or whatever the hell, sorry for my language, just think about it. Why are they writing this? What's the narrative? What are they trying to do? Why would a streamer with a following post the N and the F word a million times in a public Discord? Could it maybe be fake? Just think about it.
Right. And I mean, not to sound ageist or anything like that, but you do have mostly a lot of teenagers here, like spamming this clip, and reacting to it. So it's kind of like, oh my God, so eye-rolly.
Yeah, 100 subs and I won't leave the stream. I'll stay here muted the whole time. You're just gonna have me like, you know how streamers have cat cams?
Have a monkeyism
Monkey's
cam.
gonna have a
Yes.
monkey cam. It's gonna be like on my phone reading a book, just muted on the side, being like,
While I'm like playing Bloodborne raging.
we should actually do that one time.
That's
when
a great
I come
idea,
visit
honestly.
Austin, you should have like a second cam where it's like just me and Booker on the side, like chilling.
Oh my god, you want to be my dog way too much.
I want to be your dog. I want to meet your brother. There's a lot of things I gotta do. I have like my whole loco list.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If you guys want to shout out your channels before y'all take off, I appreciate you guys taking the time to come on and have like a good discussion about the situation.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. I'm Glam Shatterskull. I play video games. We listen to metal. We may be painting a lot of miniatures soon.
Oh yeah.
We just did some St. Jude charity stuff. I just did a tabletop RPG. We broke.
Can you type in the
$2,000
chat so I can follow you, please?
Yes.
Yeah, mods.
Yeah.
Mods. Mods. Link it up. Monkeys,
Boom.
what about you?
Not gonna lie, I'm super tempted to blow my entire paycheck. Listen, I have things to do. It's my day off. Please do not give 100 subs because I cannot stay today. Okay. I mean, you can still give local 100 subs. Just don't expect me to. Next time, I promise. Sorry, I interrupted you again because my coffee kicked in. I'm so sorry, Glam.
No, you're fine. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad we're talking about it. Sometimes when you, I just celebrated my 2-year stream anniversary, so I'm like relatively young on the platform by comparison to a lot of people.
And you begged for subs, didn't you?
Dude, never.
Canceled. Canceled.
Well, you see the tones of the overarching kind of like, conversation of the clicks that are happen on the platform. So it's really sometimes when you're newer, it can be nervous to have dissenting opinions than what the overall major thread is, right? So, I saw Loco posted a tweet about like, I'm going to talk about it, blah, 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 blah. And then I DM'd her immediately on Discord and was like, here's what I think.
Yeah. No, but I do understand. Like, I do understand your concern because when I was starting out streaming, like, yeah, I've kept my mouth shut about a lot of things. And now I'm not, because I do have a voice and I want to have these conversations and I want to better the industry. Like, genuinely.
Yeah, it's responsible to have the conversation. So thank you very much, Loco, for hosting that.
Oh,
thank you.
I'm gonna cry. You using your voice for good. I'm emotional today. I'm sorry, chat.
Oh my gosh. Don't cry,
I really
please.
appreciate you. I like that. Seriously. Thanks for taking the time to like talk about it positively.
Thanks for joining me. Oh my god.
I'm gonna go. Okay, everyone. Bye.
Y'all are amazing. Thank you, everybody.
All right, bye guys. Thank you. You guys know my place in the industry, and I get a lot of, every time something happens on streamer Twitter, I get a lot of people that look to my opinion, and I really try to do a very thorough take and investigation and perspective before I speak, because I don't want to perpetuate the echo chambers that occur. Can I finish? Oh, you're making me flustered. The two sides of Loco, the responsible voice for good and the person that licks eyes. I mean, I guess if you're still mad about the clip, I guess, think about how are we on level 4? What is happening? If you're still mad about the clip, I would just encourage you to think about why you're actually mad about the clip and how it affects you at the end of the day, because really it only affects her community, and it works for her community. Look at Loco's shilling. I'm literally ignoring subs. I'm literally not. I'm gonna get clipped for not acknowledging the subs and be canceled for not thanking the donors and supporters. I'm just trying to finish my thoughts before we move on. But yeah, it's very easy to get upset about that situation and see everyone else upset and get more upset, because that's definitely the path that I took initially, was seeing. It's very overwhelming to see everyone being so outraged, and you're like, well, obviously I'm outraged. Like, this is outrageous. And then it's like to think about it and sit on it for like 6+ hours and really see all the perspectives and look at people's comments and replies, and there's a lot to look at. There's a lot to look over. I am not giving a character assessment about her as a person. Like, I'm not making an overall judgment. I am not God guarding the gates of heaven. I don't know. Is that correct? I'm not deeming her as a good or bad person. I'm not making that judgment at all. I'm just explaining the viewpoint of that clip in particular. And how at the end of the day, like, who cares? Like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. A lot of people don't like it. Some people like it though. Some people like it, some people don't like it. A lot of people don't like it apparently. But I don't think that makes her a bad person. It just makes her the way she does her content. That's fine, whatever.